From there, we're going to move on to page 7, where it has some common classroom commands. I want to do these for a few reasons. One is so that you can hear some real words in real sentences. Another one is that it points out several bits of grammar that are not going to be brought up until much later in the book, but I think that people will be interested in them. And if your mind is anything like mine, your mind's going to be going, well, why is grammar like this? And so I'm going to mention just a couple things here. Starting out there at the top of page 7, the first sentence we have is abra el libro, open the book. Now, there are a couple of things to note about this. One is the verb. Abrir is actually the verb. It's an IR verb. It has a conjugation. For those who come in from Latin, you'll find that the conjugation of Spanish verbs is very much like the conjugation of Latin verbs. It clearly derives from it. Commands in Spanish, there are different types, different ways that commands are given, but a very common way that commands are given is to use the present form of the subjunctive. It's really very much like in Latin, and when we get to that point, you'll note that especially in the present tense, the Spanish subjunctive is very much like the Latin subjunctive. And so, abra el libro would be open the book. On these also, I've been pronouncing the Spanish very, very slowly so you can pick it up. I'm also going to pronounce it at a more normal speed so you can, hear the way it comes out like that. So the first one is abra el libro. Okay, you'll notice that the vowels kind of slid together. Abra el libro, and the el and libro slid together. That's normal. We do it in English too. The second one is similar. Abran los libros en la página 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is very much like the first one, except it's a plural command. Abra would be to one person. Abran it would be to multiple people. Grammatically, it's the present subjunctive, third person plural. So in a more normal speed, that sentence would be abran los libros en la página 1. A lot of times you'll hear some of the S's drop out. It's very common in Spanish to drop out S's. So if I was saying this, I might even say abran los libros. The S drops off the los sometimes. It's not approved by the Academy, but a lot of people do it. Another thing I wanted to mention about this, Spanish, just like many other languages, has gender. They don't mention gender until a ways into the book here, so I just wanted to, for the grammatically minded, you're going to be immediately thinking about gender. So let me give you a brief overview on Spanish gender, and that is, in Spanish there are only two genders, masculine and feminine. There's no neuter gender. It's a little bit of a lie, but basically there's no neuter gender. The articles, the definite article, the word the, as you can see here, is either el for the masculine or la for the feminine. Los and las for the masculine and feminine plural. For those coming in from Latin, you're familiar with your first, second, third, fourth, fifth declensions. In Spanish, you'll be happy to know there are no declensions. However, there are categories of words which are largely based on the Latin, and that will actually help you quite a bit. It's usually pretty easy to tell what gender a Spanish word is. If it ends in an O, it's, I think I can say it's always masculine. If it ends in an A, it's usually feminine. Not always. There are some words that are derived, for example, from Greek, where that they, like mapa, that end in an A, but they're still masculine. But usually the words that end in A are feminine. When you get to words that end in other letters, it's kind of a grab bag. E can be either masculine or feminine. I've heard it said that words that end in E are generally masculine. That may be true, but there's an awful lot of words that end in E that are feminine, including a lot of the ones that you use in a classroom setting, things like clase and frase. So we'll see some more of the gender as we move on here. So moving on to the third sentence, we have cierren or cierre los libros. So once again, this is a command: close the books. You can put the N on to make it plural. So cierre los libros would be telling one person to close his books. Cierren los libros would be telling multiple people to close their books, or close the books. The next one, repitan la palabra, or repitan las palabras. You'll notice the B there is almost silent. Remember from before, the B in the middle of the word is very soft. Libro, v. Remember that sound? Libro. So, repitan la palabra, or repitan las palabras. Use a more normal rate of speaking.